Hi, Jawad here. So today we will be talking about the AWS Copilot. Um, if you have a Docker-based application and you want to deploy it on ECS or Elastic Container Services of AWS, so there are a couple of ways to deploy it, but today we will be talking about the Copilot. What is Copilot? Copilot is a CLI tool where we are pointing out the Docker file to the Copilot, and then that the Copilot is deploying all the applications on ECS. So if you have AWS, you can search AWS Copilot. Here is the website, aws.github.io Copilot CLI. So there is documentation and installation guide here. You can follow this documentation if you want to follow it. So I have installed the Copilot from the website. I'm using MacBook, so I have just run this command and then the Copilot was installed in my system. If you are using Windows or Ubuntu, so you can then follow the website and you can install it on your system. My Copilot version right now is 1.23 and I'm using AWS CLI, AWS version 2.1 1.12. So if you have you will need to install the Copilot and AWS CLI. So I have installed the AWS CLI and then I have configured my IAM user with this AWS CLI. So for AWS CLI, make sure you have a user which have right permission to create ECS applications and other CloudFormation permission you have. So that's it. To starting with the Copilot, you will just need to run this command. Initially, AWS, so I'm just running Copilot init. It will ask some question. We will need to answer these questions. So the first question is, would you like to use the existing application? No. Then I will need to give them an application name. So it's test Copilot. That's my application name. You can use your application name. So the next step is they are asking for what workload type you want to use it. So initially I want to deploy the gateway. So for the gateway I want to use the load balancer because I want to expose it on the internet. So I will use the load balance web service. I will select this, but before going to select this, let me talk about this directory. Sorry, I didn't talk initially. So it's a microservice based application and I have a Docker compose file here. Okay. I'm using this Docker compose file to run this application on local machines. So you don't need to for this file for Copilot. Okay, and then I have a Docker file here. I'm using this Docker file for the development and this one for the production. So in this file I'm using 16 node version and then it's a common Docker file. Okay, and same for the other microservices. I have set up Docker production file in other microservices as well. So selecting this load balance web application right now, and then it's asking the what is your service name. So I am deploying gateway, so I will give them a gateway name. After this command, they are here suggesting some Docker file which I have in this repository here. So if this step is not working for you, so make sure that your Docker is running. Right now my Docker application is running here, so that's why these files are appearing here. So if there is anything wrong with this step on your side, so make sure your Docker is running and up. I will use gateway directory here as they are getting this Docker file from gateway folder, and in the gateway folder I will select the Dockerfile production one. Alright, and then they are starting the process here. So they are using the cloud formation to create to create services and AWS. So if we will check that AWS cloud formation in AWS in a while. So in the meantime, they are progressing it, like it's there. We will wait a few seconds, so then we will continue again. Okay, so they are created the Copilot. That the directory Copilot will hold service manifest for relocation test services. So they are created some file here, as it's suggesting that the gateway manifest file is created in the gateway folder. So they are creating this file, and we have all the specs and other information are here. So the first step is to as you can see here, it's HTTP. As we are select the load balance, so we will need to give them a path. And another thing is, if we are using load balance, so load balance also checking the health of the service, so we will need to provide the health endpoint here, which I already created. As you can see here in the health check controller, I have already create a controller here, and it's name of the controller. So I will need to just give this name and this endpoint to the health check. So health check will follow this specs here. Okay, the next thing is everything else is fine. It's looking fine for me. Here is a port, so it's a port of the application. So my gateway application is running on 8000 port, because I have configured here a listener on 8000 port. So I will need to change this to 8000 port. And then I have a CPU memory count and a execution here. So for this, if you want to change it or extend the CPU, you can extend the here it's a task, CPU, memory, and other stuff here. So if you want to modify it, you can modify from here. That's it for this file. We have environments file here, environment section here. It's if you are using .env file and you have some variable in .env file, so you can assign those variables to here to deploy this environment, to assign that variable values and other stuff. So we will discuss this later in our next video. Okay, so we'll continue this process again. It's asking you want to deploy it on a test environment. So by default they are creating a test environment for development. So as you can see, I have changed here, I have put a health check and I have changed the port here. So if you want to deploy it right now, we can deploy it, because we have changed our configuration in manifest file. So I will select here yes, I want to deploy it. So if you select the yes, then it will start the deployment. And again they are created some file here. As you can see, they are created the environments folder here, and in the environment folder again there are some configuration. If you want to assign your VPC, custom VPC, or if you want to make some more configuration here, so you can make it for the specific environment. It will take some time, so we will pause this video for a few minutes, then I will be back once it's deployed. It's deployed on AWS. As you can see, they have returned the elastic load balancer link here. Let me click on this link. So you can see my application is deployed on this uh, elastic load balancer. And if we go to the cloud formation, so as you can see here, uh, this application this Copilot is using cloud formation. So in cloud formation, you can see here is created a task definition, services, some other env control services. So all these things are created using the cloud formation. If we go to the uh, clusters here, ECS here, as you can see here, cluster is created, and also services and tasks are created. So we don't need to go to the AWS console while we are deploying the ECS using Copilot. So that's it for this video. We will discuss more detail in next video. Thank you for your time.